What's going on, crypto miners, and welcome back to the channel. Well, we've had some crazy winter weather recently, a lot of high winds, and we had a power outage. And, not a big deal. It happens 30 minutes, an hour, and then everything comes back up. However, at my ASIC mining shed, I have one miner that didn't come back up at all. There's no signs of life. I can't ping it. I can't access it remotely. So we're going to head over to my ASIC mining shed and take a look at my Bitmain Antminer KS5 Pro KASPA Miner 21 terahash unit. I'm really hoping there's nothing wrong. Special thanks to today's video sponsor, Crypto Miner Bros. Crypto Miner Bros has been one of the top ASIC resellers in the industry since 2018, specializing in crypto mining hardware for not just professionals, but also home mining enthusiasts. Some of my favorite professional ASICs include the Bitmain Antminer L9 Dogecoin miner and the brand new Bitmain Antminer S21 XP Bitcoin miner. For home miners, I love the new Volt Miner D1 Mini, the AlphaPex DG Home 1, the iPolo V2X Ethereum Classic miner, and finally, the Canaan Avalon Nano 3S Solo Bitcoin miner. Crypto Miner Bros makes the checkout process easy for new miners looking to make their first purchase by not only accepting wire transfers, but also some of the more popular cryptocurrencies as a form of payment, like Bitcoin, Ethereum, Dogecoin, and USDT. Save an additional $70 per ASIC miner with special checkout discount code, The Hobbyist Miner. Need a safe, reliable, and trusted reseller to purchase your next ASIC miner from? Look no further than CryptoMinerBros.com. All right, we made it over to our ASIC mining shed. Say hi to our chickens back there. So let's head inside, take a look. Hopefully we can get this KASPA miner back up and running. All right, so as I mentioned, we had a power outage here. Not normal, haven't had a power outage in quite a while, let alone for almost an hour. Everything came up and running, which is great. And yes, we're still running a number of KASPA miners. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 total KASPA miners in here. So let's take a look at our problem child. So I have both of my KS5 Pros right down here. This is more of a newer model, and this is just a little bit older of a unit. I think this is one of the first generation models that came out. We are utilizing the inline fan system with the Fruition Design shroud kit, and it's been working amazing. I mean, you guys can hear me talking in here, and we have just about 30 ASIC miners inside. So as you guys can see, we have both of them that are wired up to one 30 amp 240 volt. We're using 3,160 watts. Here we can zoom in there a little bit. There you go. So as you guys can see, our one unit's running great. IP address 135. This guy is completely off. IP address 128. Not even on. No link lights. No nothing. So first thing I'm thinking about doing is let's just unplug it entirely. Leave it offline for a few minutes and see if that cold power cycle does anything. So let's go ahead, sneak in here, get that unplugged. Let's give it, 5 minutes or so, and then we'll try to plug it back in. While we're waiting for that, let's go ahead and run through the KASPA miners we have up and running. So these are my two KS 1.5s. It's kind of a Frankenstein build. We took a third KS1 and broke up the hash boards into each of these. Huge shout out to Greater Good Mining for recommending that to me. So this one is actually solo mining on Cedra, still the K heavy hash algorithm. This one is solo mining on Bugna, K heavy hash as well. I'm thinking about selling these on my Discord. So if any of you guys are interested in one or both of these, please reach out. We can come to an agreement. So down below here, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 KS2s that have been mining for quite a while now. And then finally on the end, we have a KS5L that we do have on the end here. Man, the KS5Ls, profitability on those so short-lived. So I'm going to be honest, none of these are profitable right now with the current state of KASPA. and how high the network hash rate is. We'll talk about kind of my KASPA mining philosophy here in a minute. Over on this side, we have another KS5L. Over here, another KS5L, so 3 KS5Ls total. We went through the 2 KS5 Pros down below. And then we have 1, 2, 3 of the Ice River KS3Ms. And these are actually have the T-Swift overclocking firmware on them to get a little bit more out of those total. So let's talk about why I'm still mining KASPA with these. So why am I still mining KASPA with these 12 KASPA miners? Hopefully 12. Hopefully we can get that last one back up and running. But why are we still mining KASPA on these when a majority of these units aren't profitable right now today? Well, I absolutely stay away from the fact of monitoring daily profitability. I really don't have the time, let alone is that something that I look at, stare at, and just allow it to control my life. Instead, what I like to do is accumulate, and that's what I'm doing right now. I'm accumulating as much KASPA as I can, even when KASPA is at what? 7, 8, 9 cents right now. Nothing phenomenal at all. So right now, I'm allowing my miners to continue to work for me, accumulating as much KASPA as I can. Even right now, with KASPA being so low, KASPA is in my top 5 in my portfolio position right now, with KASPA being so low. So my strategy is accumulate as much as I can. And yes, I get it. I could go ahead, power everything down, and just DCA into KASPA every day. But I'll be honest, I love mining, and I just don't keep up with the daily profitability on these miners. But I do believe as time goes on, we're going to have to part ways with these miners more and more as that network hash rate with KASPA continues to climb, and there's rumors of a 95 terahash Bitmain KASPA miner on the way. All right, so it's been a little over 5 minutes. Let's go ahead, see if we can get this plugged back in. All right, let's see if we can squeeze in here with the camera. Checking our plug. And let's plug it in. All right, so right away, we got a green light right here. I can see inside there. There's a little green light right there. No link lights yet or anything. Let's give it a minute. Hey, we got a link light. Now can we get a normal light? And I want no fault lights. I wonder if this thing, the power supply or something, was just in some weird stale state after that power outage. You know, it is a surge. You know, your PDUs aren't necessarily surge protectors or anything like that. They're just power distribution units. So, I mean, it does have a breaker on it for any massive surges or anything, but guys, I'll be honest, ASIC miners are very finicky. Not as finicky as like GPU mining and stuff like that, but they are picky 100%. Let's give this a few minutes. I'm not seeing a green normal light or a red fault light. Let's see if we can access the dashboard. All right, it's only been a few minutes. We were able to hit it via IP address 128. Everything says normal across the board here. We do have ours going over to 2 miners if you're interested. And then I have via BTC as a backup. Always like to put via BTC as my backups as well. So let's go ahead and take a look at the miner log. It is going to take a few minutes for KASPA miners to get up and mining. That's normal. Let's go ahead and scroll down. All right, that's not good. So we're getting some, today, the 11th, level error PID. I don't know what this is, but failed to write. Is that a control board issue? And then down here, EEPROM info error, fixture without header, data decode fail, sweep error string. Oh man. All right, let's give this a few minutes, see if it gets up and mining. All right, so it's been a few minutes, and unfortunately, we still have nothing here. Even scrolling down, the pool information's not loading. The hash boards aren't loading. Okay, so what I'm thinking is control board or power supply. We just get this now level PID EEPROM device. I need to look into this a little bit more. So what I'm gonna do is I'm actually gonna pull that KASPA miner and let's bring it back to my house where we can spend some more time investigating. So while I was doing this, it really got me thinking of like, man, I really need to start keeping spare parts. Things like control boards, you know, I should order a few different models and have them available. So like when this occurs, I can kind of swap them in pretty quickly. I know a lot of your like big hosting companies, they stock like extra parts left and right. So when this happens, you can kind of get your miner back up and running, because like if it's the control board, that's like a 5-minute fix, right? So it's like, dang, I really need to start doing that. Power supplies are a little bit more expensive, so maybe the control boards are the better avenue to go. As I said, I don't know if it's the power supply, if it's the control board. My guess, the control board, it could be the power supply. I'm not sure. I do want to connect with fellow community member Mining King, who is like way in the weeds, very knowledgeable, has gone through a lot of training on ASIC repair, get his thoughts on it, especially because we do have the log, so we can kind of see. It does give you a little bit of information, but yeah, I think my next step is definitely looking control board and power supply. I think control board is going to be the cheapest and fastest solution. So let's see what we can find. All right, so we're home and back at it again, working on this unit. Huge shout out to Terra Hosting. They did actually have one of these control boards for the Bitmain Antminer KS5 Pro. Bought it off of them, got it really, really quickly. So now let's see if this is gonna work. You know, my first thought was to go this route because this was only about $80 total before we went and replaced the entire power supply. I'm hoping this is the case just based off of some of the errors that we got regarding, you know, programming and data errors. I'm hoping that that is the case, that it's the control board. It's it's a cheaper fix, because the power supply I was looking, Altair Tech, it's like $350 to $380. So let's get this opened up. So for those of you guys not familiar, all you have to do is go ahead and remove the set screw right here. And then the nice thing is there's actually this push button. You can push and pull up, and that'll actually release the entire lid for most of your ASICs out there, at least for the Bitmains. So inside here, you can see that we do have a bunch of our dummy plugs plugged in directly into our control board here. And this is just tricking it to making it think that it does have the high RPM fans installed when we actually are using the large inline fan. So let's take a quick look here, kind of compare a few things. So what I was looking for when I did go ahead and order this, and I'm not sure if the camera is going to catch it, but at the top there, control board CV1835. This says V3_2. Now this one here, it's a little bit upside down, but it does have the same information right there. So this is the exact same control board. The only big difference is we are going to go ahead and have to actually swap out the firmware. So I'll show you guys how we're going to do that. But let me go ahead and swap over all the cables. All right, moment of truth. Went ahead and got the control board swapped out. I didn't put the front plate back on. Everything worked as expected. Now, something I thought about while I get the cabling in place here was that some of you guys might be like, well, why do you have to load firmware on it? Well, a lot of these control boards just kind of have a base firmware, because a lot of these control boards are actually interchangeable. Like, they work for different miners. So in this case, my guess is when I boot this up, we'll actually take a look in the firmware and take a closer look to see, you know, what exactly, most likely has some like stand-in model to it. Now, what I need to do as well is I got to plug in this inline fan, because that actually has separate power here. So let's get that plugged in. So now that's going to turn on my inline fan here. That's going to start sucking air through this to cool that down, which is good. Yeah, you hear that starting up there. We're getting some air out the back side. Now we'll turn this down. We don't need this to be crazy blowing right now as we test this out. Now I'm going to go ahead over on my phone. I actually use the Google Mesh network. So even though I have an IP address here that I assigned to it, that's actually assigned to the MAC address for the old control board. So I need to find the new IP address, which will be easy with the Google Mesh system. And let's get logged in and see exactly what it says. So I thought this sounded a little funny, and I don't know if you guys can hear it. It just doesn't sound right. I really don't know how to. I know I'm like not expecting high RPM fans. I get it, but something that just doesn't sound right. The airflow doesn't sound right at all. Something sounds off. And well, unfortunately, we still have a problem. So coming over here, it actually did have KS5 listed in here. I thought maybe it would list something different like B, XXX or whatever. That's something that I've seen some of these boards come with. But what I am finding is when I go into the miner log, that when we do go ahead and scroll down, we are getting the same errors. So what does that tell me? That tells me that it actually wasn't the control board, which of course it wasn't, right? Of course it wasn't the cheaper, faster solution of $80. So let me see what we can find for the power supply. So Altair Tech has a replacement power supply for $300, which is tough, especially for the KS5 Pro right now, which is not making much per day, but we are absolutely going to go ahead and pull the trigger on this. Nice thing is with Altair Tech coming to us from St. Louis, so shouldn't take too long. All right, our package from Altair Tech is here. It's been a few days. We have our new power supply. Oh yeah, exactly what we needed. Just wanted to make sure we had the right connection there. It is the right model. Now, one hurdle, which I didn't think about, but it's going to take me a lot longer to replace this. Traditionally, power supply is pretty easy to replace. A few screws, you slide it off, you're good to go. But we have the shroud here in the front. Each of these screws has to come out. Those screws are actually going into the fan in there. So we have to take a step back. We actually have to take off the inline fan, then take off the front shroud, and then take off the supporting ducting for the shroud that goes into the power supply. So a lot more work than what I expected, but here we are. All right, wish me luck. Inline fan is on. Ethernet is plugged in. Last step, power. All right. Oh, I hear some noise. Power supply fans. That's a good sign, right? Right? We got Ethernet activity. I don't see any normal or fault light yet. Let's give it a minute. Normal. Come on, normal. Check it out. We got ourselves a normal light. Let's head over. Take a closer look here. Look at this. We are back up and hashing. $80 control board. Granted, we'll add it to our stock for the future, and a $300 power supply, and we are back and earning some KASPA. I'll call that one a victory. Are you ready to invest in your next Bitcoin miner, but unsure where to start? Look no further than compassmining.io. Why choose Compass Mining? 3 reasons. Number 1, an effortless buying experience. Their state-of-the-art website and secure checkout process make purchasing your Bitcoin miner a breeze. Number 2, their expert guidance. Unsure which Bitcoin miner is right for you? Their friendly, knowledgeable team based in the US is here to help. Number 3, their hosting solutions. Need a place to host your new Bitcoin miners? Compass Mining has over 20 partner locations across the United States. I recently visited their Nebraska facility in December and now host several Bitmain Antminer S21s and S19K Pros at Compass. The experience was fantastic. Ready to learn more? Visit the link down below to set up a free one-on-one consultation with a Compass Mining team member, or watch the full Nebraska mining farm tour down below. Start your Bitcoin mining journey today with Compass Mining.